Hello guys, welcome to the Brightation. Today I'm going to tell you about my honest experience with English, as a whole. I'm not going to say any new terms about English. I'm just going to get straight to the point about what I thought of it in Key Stage 3 and right now in Key Stage 4 as I'm about to move to Year 11 next week. So, in Key Stage 3, English was actually one of my favourite subjects because it was rather creative, and if you knew your stuff, if you knew the terminology and you knew how to use it properly and effectively, you didn't really need to put a lot of effort. And before, we didn't do poems up until year 8. But I still enjoyed year 7 as a whole because obviously year 7 is going to be the easiest, but it's just because I found it really simple to write stuff, write paragraphs, write creative stories, whatever, and analyse them. I just found it exciting. And then in year 8, we had to do something called Peter Seaters. You see, in year 7, we had to do something called Peter Paragraphs. Point, evidence, technique, explain, and reader, which in Key Stage 4 in our school they changed to relevance. But then we had to do Peter Seater. The Peter still stays the same, but the Seater replaces the P with compare. So essentially you have to write 2 Peter paragraphs. So it's point, evidence, technique, explain, reader or relevance, and they're the same thing but with compare instead of point. That's essentially what we had to do since poetry was first introduced in year 8. To be honest, I didn't really mind too much at that point, and as a whole, I wouldn't say that it was too bad of a year for English. I still enjoyed it pretty decently, and I didn't really have any problem writing paragraphs. In year 9, we had to learn one half of love and relationships because AQA English, love and relationships. But we did the family part of it, not the actual romance. So there's 2 parts of it, family, which we did for essentially the last half of year 9 essentially, and then we had some assessment coming after it. And then in year 10, we had the romance part of it, essentially. So family, romance, but we did a family part first. I didn't really have a problem with doing it. It's just because now looking back, I feel like I didn't analyse it enough. Because I know I revised, but if I knew I had to analyse some parts more and more, that's where I would have gotten better. In my assessment, I didn't do badly, but I still kind of regret getting 73% for the assessment that we did. But I know where to improve next time for year 9. And in year 10, we did the romance part of love and relationships. That's what we did. Then later on, we did Macbeth, and then that ended. And after that ended, we did English language. I thought we were gonna do paper 1 first, since usually it's an order of 1 and 2, just like me taking business. We do paper 1 first, then paper 2. I thought that was gonna be same chronological order for English. For my school, it's paper 2, then paper 1. Essentially speaking, we didn't do the creative part first, since the creative part is actually the easiest part. So I think it kind of makes sense to do the hardest first, although I was a bit confused on how to. I'm not really, it's not that I hate English, for that matter. It's just because, in retrospect, I didn't revise as much before. Do not make the same mistake. Even if you have, Power and Conflict, or Worlds and Lives, or whatever, actually analyse, actually revise, and you can do better in your tests. All you need to do is literally just analyse every relevant part of the quote. Don't just pick out some nonsense parts. For example, if it says mother any distance greater than a single span, you wouldn't just pick out the article A and then say A means, but you could use the word single, justifying that the speaker needs more assistance from the mother and therefore is very dependent on it. I could have explained that a little more for the example, but that's just my standpoint. If you analyse and you actually revise more than I did, then you can get even better results. So I am going to try revise more for year 11 and try my best to actually do exam questions. Before I didn't do that until it was my year 10, until like a few weeks, like 3-4 away from my year 10 marks. English wasn't so bad because I got a 6, but I know I need to improve. That was like one of the 2 subjects where I got a 6. Other than that, I was pretty much okay with my marks. So I know that's what I mainly need to revise. So if you have a passion in the subject and you do really well at it, that doesn't mean you don't have to revise it. You can, you just don't have to revise it as much as the subjects you put on priority. That's the lesson that you should learn, especially if you're going from year 10 to year 11. So essentially speaking, revision is key. I know everyone says it. I know everyone says revise. Listen, you don't have to listen to every single YouTuber on the internet that says, oh, you have to revise for so and so. Pick a time that suits you. Pick a specific type of revision that will actually benefit you and help you instead of inconveniencing you. That is the power of revision. Not just, oh, this person said this, so I'll just revise for a really long time just to get this stuck in my head. You don't have to revise for that long. As long as you are consistent with your time, it's okay. Even if you do 40 minutes or 1 hour of revision per day, it doesn't matter. As long as you see the results, as long as you put in work and effort into that revision, it's okay. Even if you revise for 40 minutes minimum. It may seem like a lot now, but really does matter. Especially just put more priority on your subjects. Essentially speaking, if you have experienced like grades that you're not really happy with, especially English, just ensure that you look at the exam board and look at some exam questions. That will really help you. And if you're marking for yourself, be a strict marker. Be as a strict marker as possible. No exceptions. If you do, oh, I forgot that, I'll just add it in to make sure it's correct. Or, oh, I should have added it in so it's still marked as correct or whatever. Mark yourself as strictly as possible so you know the most to improve on. If you don't know the most to improve on, when the real exam comes, you will be cooked. You will not have an opportunity. It's not as if, oh, this is my mock, so I can just do half baked revision. You need to put in work now, so you can see the good results later. That's what you need to do. So that's essentially my opinion on English and essentially how you should revise in English. Although it's not really revision on only English in general, it's kind of all subjects. All subjects require some sort of writing or reasoning involved. So you should essentially just revise consistently. If you don't, you're done. And ensure you like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos to everyone you know, so that way it helps my user base. Be bright, stay bright, and have a good day. Keep on revising.